A young man arrived early that morning, full of energy and eager to prove himself. The sun barely touched the horizon as he joined a group of workers gathering for a shared task. They were to move large, heavy crates across uneven ground, a job requiring rhythm, strength, and trust. An older, experienced man stood at the center, observing the team with quiet patience. He had spent decades in similar work, understanding each nuance that made labor efficient. The young man's eyes sparkled with confidence, certain that speed would show his worth. As they lifted the first crate together, the older man gestured subtly, indicating a safer, more effective method. The young man shook his head, believing he knew a faster way. He pushed ahead with his own plan, ignoring the careful guidance offered. The crate wobbled dangerously as he tried to maneuver it, causing the group to stumble. Sweat dripped down their faces as they struggled to maintain balance, their rhythm broken. Each misstep forced the older man to shout instructions, which the young man barely registered. The task, meant to be accomplished in harmony, became a scene of frustration and tension. Muscles strained, and grunts filled the air, a physical echo of the young man's stubbornness. Time, which could have been saved, slipped away with each ignored piece of advice. The older man's eyes reflected understanding, not anger, as he watched the chaos unfold. At one point a crate tipped slightly, threatening to fall, and the group barely steadied it. The young man's heart raced, adrenaline mixing with a growing sense of unease. Despite the near accident, he continued, convinced that pushing harder would solve the problem. Each additional crate became heavier, not just in weight, but in the tension it carried. The other workers exchanged glances, silently acknowledging the difficulty caused by a single refusal to listen. The young man noticed their strained faces, but interpreted them as doubt in his capability. He clenched his jaw, determined to demonstrate strength rather than patience. Minutes stretched into long, exhausting moments as misalignments forced repeated corrections. The older man moved closer, adjusting a grip here, a stance there. Yet the young man remained defiant. Finally, a moment came when the young man paused, breathing heavily, hands shaking from effort. He looked around and saw the exhaustion mirrored in everyone's eyes. In that pose, a realization struck him. Speed without guidance was leading only to struggle. The older man nodded gently, waiting patiently, offering no words, only presence. The young man, in quiet reflection, decided to follow the suggested method. He adjusted his posture, aligned his grip, and moved with a deliberate rhythm. The team fell into synchronization almost immediately, a fluid motion restoring energy and efficiency. Crates glided across the ground smoothly, each lift lighter than before. The young man noticed the difference, how listening allowed work to become easier, safer, and faster. A subtle smile appeared on his face, accompanied by a sense of humility. He realized that ignoring experience had only cost them unnecessary effort and time. The older man's calm eyes conveyed a lesson more powerful than any spoken word. It was not weakness to listen, it was respect for the collective effort and the wisdom around him. From that day, the young man approached tasks with a new perspective, balancing confidence with patience. He understood that pride could blind one to the simplest path toward success. Listening, he discovered, did not diminish time, it elevated the entire group. The workday, once chaotic, became a demonstration of what cooperation could achieve. Each crate moved effortlessly, each movement guided by shared understanding rather than individual haste. The young man felt a quiet satisfaction, deeper than any fleeting triumph of speed. He saw that pride might make a person rush, but listening made the journey smoother and more meaningful. As the sun climbed higher, casting light on the team's accomplishment, a sense of unity filled the air. The older man quietly observed, a subtle nod affirming the young man's transformation. No words were spoken, yet the lesson was unmistakable, etched in the rhythm of work and the relief in tired muscles. The young man's confidence now carried wisdom, tempered by the respect he had learned to give and receive. He walked with a new awareness, carrying both strength and patience in every step. From that day forward, he remembered the cost of ignoring guidance. He remembered how quickly mistakes could multiply when pride overshadowed patience, and he remembered how effortlessly the group moved once he chose to listen. Each task afterward became a chance to honor the lesson, to combine his energy with the experience around him. The young man realized that true progress was measured not by speed alone, but by harmony and shared success. He saw that listening saved time that pride silently wasted, a truth now clear through experience. The day he didn't listen would stay with him, not as embarrassment, but as a turning point. It was the day he learned that respect and attention could transform effort into achievement. From then on, the young man approached each challenge with a quiet attentiveness. He moved with purpose, yet he watched, he learned, and he adapted. His work became a testament to the power of humility combined with action. The group thrived, each member contributing fully, each obstacle met with coordination rather than chaos. The young man's journey reflected a universal truth. The wisdom of others is a resource, not a burden. Speed might impress momentarily, but understanding and listening ensured lasting success. He carried this lesson beyond the worksite into every interaction, every endeavor that required cooperation. And in every shared effort, he remembered the day he didn't listen, and how choosing to hear transformed not just his work, but his character.